The impact of tree thickening or encroachment on sustainable pastoral and environmental values is hard to define. Controlling the loss of viable pasture is made difficult by cost and access to government approval. Tree thickening can be seen as a productivity and environmental debt we are placing on future generations. To those businesses affected, loss of pasture threatens economic sustainability.
As you can see how thick these little fellas are, and behind us how some of the bigger ones are coming up behind here. It doesn't allow the moisture or grass growth or anything, and it's difficult for livestock as well as us to manage them.
Doug and Lauren Tindall run their operation from Janet Downs.
We're on Janet Downs and Gaza. We're a mainly wool growing operation with cattle and goats. We're running 55,000 acres here. Yeah, we're fully fenced. The Janet Downs is fenced on its own, and now Gaza's was fenced into a cluster.
The Tindall see the Gidyea thickening as having an economic impact on their enterprise. Stocking capacity has been reduced by 40% compared to the historic stocking records. Goats are now an important part of Janet Downs, both commercially and in an attempt to control unwanted Gidyea.
So this road was built in 1990, and you can see the original timber, what the country was like. And if you look over here, none of these trees, nothing was here. You've got the two original old dead trees, and all these hundreds and hundreds of trees have now created a mess. The Gidyea has just expanded hugely, particularly in the wet winters of 16 and 19. The Gidyea definitely is, not only does it grow trees, it stops all the grass growth because it's taking all the moisture. And yeah, it impacts it for mustering or whatever you're trying to do, all your fencing, everything like that, all those things that integrate with your operation are disturbed, I think.
The Tindalls are trying to control the Gidyea spread, not without difficulty.
That's why we originally went into goats. Yeah, if we can keep it as is with goats, I think they're a cheaper option than running a dozer.
Mechanical clearing is more difficult than raising the cost of use of machinery.
So for thinning, which we'd like to do in this country here, it's not as easy, and quite often it's not when you have money in your operation.
The Tindalls believe there is definitely a place for Gidyea on their property, in balance with the Mitchell grass country, as it has for millennia. Doug says they first started to see a significant change in the behaviour of the trees around 2000.
We didn't think it was an overly big problem until 2010. You know, around then it started to show up a bit more. You know, we weren't able to get through country with a motor vehicle that we were before. You know, we couldn't get into some country that had thickened up on motorbikes even.
So what would Doug and Lauren like to see in the future?
I'd really like to be able to get a thinning permit so that you could tackle the trees that have got away and are so thick that livestock can't get through. I'd like to be able to tackle those and then go forward with the goats who will manage all these smaller trees from now on.
Future, I'd just like to be able to keep the country as it is. I don't want to get rid of all the trees. I just want to be able to keep it at a status quo. That's where I'd like to be. You know, this country's still quite really easily workable compared to a lot of other country, and that's what I'd like to keep it.
Industry, government and Desert Channels Queensland support the grazing industry in managing for change and a sustainable future on the rangelands.